that time of year again. Entry's around the corner, the Grand National is on Saturday, and it's the time of year where the anti-horse racing lot are out in force, spreading their bullshit and their lies about racing. And I am putting my foot down. I've had enough of listening to this shit. I worked in the industry for a few years, so what I am telling you is based on experience. It's based on real life experience. I rode racehorses, I took them racing. I've not just read some fucking article online and here we go, the top 10 myths about horse racing. I will try not to waffle on too much. Racehorses can kill you in a second, in like a split second. Until you've worked alongside these animals, you cannot appreciate just how dangerous they actually are. They are quicker than you, they are a lot more powerful than you, and they're incredibly intelligent animals. Bad Moose was a wonderful example. He refused to race 5 times in his career, and he also pulled himself up once as well. And he refused to race over jumps and on the flat. He is the proof that if a horse doesn't want to do it, it won't. Sariska is another one who refused to race. She refused to race twice in her career. At the yard I used to work, we had a horse who was declared to run air. He was one of my favourite horses. He was such a character. And they took him all the way there and he refused to race. The last time I actually heard about him, he is doing fabulous things in his second run career, which I'm really, really happy about. Back on point. Starters wait around for horses that don't want to do it. They just won't. They have to get a race off on time, and if a horse is misbehaving, they will just withdraw it. Horses will not do it if they don't want to do it. The reality is most owners will never get back hardly anything compared to what they invest into the sport. The ROA did a study and found that for every £100 an owner invests, this is on average, they get £21 return. If you are thinking about becoming a racehorse owner and all you can see is dollar signs, you're fucking deluded. You are going to lose money. Misinformed people think that a racehorse is just seen as a way of making money, and the game is not like that at all. All the yards that I worked at, they turned horses out. A lot of yards will actually turn horses out every day in summer when the weather's nice. They'll ride them and turn them out. This makes night stables a lot easier because you just come in, get them from out the field and put them away, and you know, you really need to brush them. You don't need to do the bed or anything like that. Horses also have breaks between racing. They're not constantly in training. They spend months out at grass if they're having a break, or if the season's finished. Like a lot of jumpers now will be winding down and they will be turned out all summer. Drugs that mask pain and enhance performance are prohibited in British racing. After every race, the winner and a horse selected at random are tested. The BHA have the right to turn up unannounced at any yard they choose to, and trainers have to show them round, and they have the right to look around and examine every single horse on that yard if they want to. PETA actually made me laugh. Is it PETA? Peter? Whatever they're fucking called. They brought up the case of Mahmoud Al-Zaruni, and they said something along the lines of, drugs in racing is like so-and-so to so-and-so. All horses are running on freaking performance enhancing pain masking drugs. Mahmoud Al-Zaruni was recently caught administering steroids to horses. Mahmoud Al-Zaruni was banned for years. He can't even set foot on a race course. It's an industry, it's not like a circus full of muppets that don't have a clue what they're doing. Everything is monitored. To actually become a racehorse trainer, you have to study for years. It's not just a matter of saying, oh yeah, today I'm going to become a racehorse trainer. There are hundreds of rules and regulations that need to be adhered to and that need to be learned. The BHA will come down on anyone who breaks the rules like a ton of bricks. Whilst it is true that there are a few bad people in racing, the majority of racehorse owners are incredibly hardworking, humble, decent human beings. As a stable lad, you actually get to know the horses better than their owners because you're working with them every day. But a lot of owners, when they visit, they will ask you in depth about their horse's character, about, you know, what they've been up to, all that sort of stuff. They really do care. They visit their horses regularly. They'll even bring them treats, bring them pearls and carrots and stuff like that. We had a horse at our yard. He cost £100,000 as a yearling. He didn't win a single race. He won £192 in prize money. That was it. They lost a lot of money on that horse. He was retired when he was 4 years old. And the people involved with him still had the decency to find him a good, loving, forever home. Actually get into a position where jockeys are making a decent living from race riding. They have to endure years of hard graft, 5 AM starts, riding out at yards every morning, driving from racecourse to racecourse, injuries, and then they have to keep their weight down. I have known jockeys who will starve themselves for a ride in a £3,000 claimer, which even if they win, they're not going to take a lot of money home at all, because when, you know, jockeys only get like I think they get 9.5% of the prize money. They have a lot of expenses to fork out on a race day. Once that's taken away, they're actually not left with a lot of money. They really do care about the welfare of the horses they ride. And if you ask them about their favourite horses, they will talk to you passionately, and you can see the spark in their eyes while, you know, they're explaining the characters and, you know, what it means to them to ride them particular horses. The horses much more personally than just riding them in the race, because they ride out at yards every morning. If all they cared about was money, they would be a lot easier to get a corporate job and climb the corporate ladder and actually eat like a normal human being. The truth is that some horses will meet this fate. Not everybody has good intentions, and it's like that throughout the entire world. Riding school where I used to ride when I was little, they sent horses and ponies to slaughter when their best days were over. You know, it happens throughout all equestrian disciplines. This isn't just a racing thing. I actually went to a horse market once in Beeston, and the majority of the horses there were actually ponies, and they were like hobby type, gypsy type horses. And they were sold to kill buyers. It happens every day. It's a sad reality of the world. What can I say? You know? But not everybody is like that. Not everyone will let their horse end up like that. When I worked in racing, any horse that retired from racing or wasn't good enough to race was found a loving home. My boss would not have let a horse end up going to slaughter. He cared more about his horses than he cared about us. And I know plenty more owners and trainers who are just like him. They do exist. There are more racehorse rehoming charities and centres now than ever before. I actually learned to ride racehorses on retired racehorses at the NRC. They have a lot of retired racehorses, so did the British Racing School. I will link a video in the description below, which is Godolphin's Life After Racing. There's also a group on Facebook called Racehorses Where Are They Now? And you constantly see stories of ex-racehorses doing other things. Of course, more can always be done, and more should be done. I do agree. More should be done to ensure that every racehorse gets a happy ending. But not everybody in racing is evil. I am going to make another video dedicated to this topic because I feel like it deserves to be explained thoroughly. Many people believe that horses who break their legs can actually be saved and that people just put them down because they're no longer going to win money, and it's just not true. Horses aren't like humans. When they break their legs, you can't just put it in a cast like you can a human. It's a lot more complicated than that. Barrow is an example. He broke his hind leg in the Preakness. He underwent surgery. 8 months later, his leg actually healed, but he died from laminitis in his front legs as a complication of treatment. Not all horses can be saved, but I can assure you that owners will do anything within their means to ensure that the horse is saved if it's possible. Over the last 15 years, the equine fatality rate in Britain has fallen by a third, from 0.3% to 0.2%. Average number of runners in a year is in excess of 90,000. Only a tiny percentage die from fatalities on the track. The BHA are always looking to reduce the risk in racing. You can never ever have a world where there is no risk in anything. Horses are always at risk of serious injury in any equine discipline. Liverpool University conducted a study. They found that 62% of traumatic injuries occurred in a field compared to 13% that occurred when they were being ridden. I mean, look at Quarterstaff, he spent years racing. He ended up dying from an injury in a field. Death, unfortunately, is an inevitable part of life for everybody who lives on this planet. You know, you can be as cautious as you want, you can reduce the risk as much as possible in everything, but you can never completely eliminate risk from anything in life. You're still going to die. It don't mean that people don't care about racehorses dying, because connections are absolutely devastated when they lose a horse. When you go racing, and I speak from experience for myself, as a stable lass or lad who looks after the racehorses every day, the only thing you care about is that that horse comes back okay. You would rather finish last and the horse be sound than actually win the race and the horse pulls up lame. Don't believe everything you read on the internet, and especially not on these animal activist pages, because they're like the fucking media. They sensationalise everything, they lie, they take quotes out of context to make people sound callous. If the industry was as barbaric and as cruel as they make out, do you really think a smart, savvy woman like Victoria Pendleton would have stuck around? Victoria Pendleton's just bought her own racehorse. Yes, there are some bad people in the industry, but that doesn't mean we are all bad, and research is being done all the time to make things better. Just a message to all you animal activist fuckers: if you want to make a real difference, try tackling the real issues. Go and help the fucking gypsy horses that are tethered up to the side of the road. They've got no food and no water, starving to death and freezing to death in winter. Go and help out at your local animal shelter, they will appreciate it. Rather than sitting around online fucking writing posts about an industry you have no fucking idea about.